how the first couple days in pads been?
You know, it's been good. I mean, the one thing, and we talked to the guys about it, is as you add variables to your off season. So you have, it starts as a walkthrough because it's all installed, and it goes to a little bit of a run through tempo, so the tempo kind of goes up. And then all of a sudden you're kind of out here with a helmet on and all that. And so you had the variable pads. Now all of a sudden we're playing real football. And for some of the guys, that's a surprise. You hate for it to be. It's called football for a reason, and to put on pads should not be the usual feeling. But it's that time of year, and you haven't been in them for a while. So adapting as we go. But I think overall, the one thing I give these guys a lot of credit. From an effort standpoint, I've been fairly pleased. I really have. I mean, if you can walk off the practice field each day and say, we're fighting to get better, and the effort shows up on video, then we're giving ourselves a shot. We got a long way to go, but there's some physical plays in practice, and some other ones where we're getting out physical. So we're back to the drawing board, tomorrow. But I've been pleased with the effort.
Why is Standout when they put their hats on?
Yeah, I mean, Tully, experienced player, a guy that we expected to show well. Has. I mean, he has some athleticism. I think he's a gifted player. Guy we're really excited to work with. Coach Newell did a great job with him, and that's a guy, Shane Lee, a new guy to Southern California, like all of us, but kind of has assumed a good role for us in terms from a leadership standpoint. Mature guy, and it's shown up on the practice field as well. And certainly there's others, but Mekhi Blackman's another one, experienced player.
Why is safety the right spot for Trell at this point?
Just trying to maximize the roster. I mean, that's something that we'll constantly do. And with a lot of guys, especially this time of year, it's a good time to cross-train. Get an opportunity, whether it's a corner to safety to nickel to corner, so on and so forth, an inside backer to an outside linebacker. And then, really trying to throw a lot at the guys in terms of not allowing them to get comfortable in one spot. Circle one spot on the defense, say that's my position. One, we're not good enough, and number two, we haven't been around each other long enough from an evaluation standpoint to determine who those individuals are in each one of those spots. But, he's a guy we've worked with in the past and was a guy we thought had some flexibility that way, and we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But I've been pleased with his practices up to this point.
What's been your first person of Max Williams and without the 2 ACL surgery?
Yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't have told me he had any injuries, I wouldn't have guessed it at all. And credit goes to him, credit goes to the medical staff. And I was reminded of that today, in fact. And I'm not seeing that any deficiencies from an athletic standpoint. He's smart, he's tough. He can run. He's been a pleasure to coach thus far. We need more Max Williams.
What's sort of your assessment of the defensive line so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think like most positions, work in progress. I mean, I can find some highlight plays that you would be awfully excited about and say, okay, that's our calling card from a defensive front standpoint. We're going to be in good shape. We're going to be excited about the year, and then there are going to be several others where we're not getting off the ball fast enough. Okay, well, that's a good starting point. We're not doing that. What's our plan? If we're not getting off the ball fast enough, why? What was your plan on that down? I guess you're the one that's going to get blocked. And then obviously too, from a mental standpoint, we threw a lot at them. So our approach has always been, we're going to be 0-0 after today. We're going to be 0-0 after Saturday. So we put everything in. We throw it at them and kind of stress them mentally and that. So that'll come. That slows you down at times as well. So we got to add to it. There's some bright spots. I mentioned Tully as one of those guys. But overall, it's a work in progress.
Corey was active at the start practice.
Yeah.
What's your plan for him this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's an edge guy for us. I mean, obviously you see some unique athleticism. He's a guy that hasn't been healthy enough to really do a whole lot for us yet. So the verdict's still out from a true evaluation. But a guy that certainly possesses the tools and excited to. There's some moments when you see him run that you get awfully excited about him being on your defense. But yeah, you got to be on the practice field to have a major impact for us. So, which he's not the only guy banged up, but specifically him, we got to get him healthy and get it going.
He's still limited?
Yes.
Do you feel like you're close to getting Domani and Josh back?
Yeah, it's ongoing. Those off-season things. I mean, you want to press the accelerator, but at the same time, you obviously want to be smart, and so. Those surgeries postseason and that, guys are at different kind of stages, both different injuries, and obviously Domani coming in from the high school ranks, you can't wait to get a chance to work with him. Somebody told me he's kind of fast, and so we kind of be excited to add him, and excited about Josh as well. So, if we see him before the end of spring, we'll be excited to work with him, and if not, then it'll continue into the summer.
How do you feel about the tackling on the team so far, kind of where it's at? And
the bulk of what we've done is what we call thud, so it's remaining on 2 feet. And what we simulate in those drills is taking the extra step and really getting our body into the body of a ball carrier, trying as best we can to get a punch attempt, which creates the takeaway, the opportunity for a takeaway. And so some of that's a simulated tackle. And we did some live work today. There's some good clips of it. One of the things we talk to the guys about all the time is if we're doing our job from a strength standpoint, running into the ball, playing with speed, playing with great effort, there shouldn't be a lot of solo tackles. There should be a convergence of a lot of bodies on the ball. And so we saw a little bit of that today. That's ongoing. You wish you could tackle every single day, but obviously you got to weigh being smart as well. There's only so many days you can hit over the course of spring. We used one of those days today. We'll scrimmage next Tuesday, which will be a great evaluation tool. Same thing. Will it all be live that day? Probably not. We got to manage a pretty thin roster right now through spring, but at the same time we got to get good work. That's a long answer to tell you that it's a story that I don't know quite the ending to yet. So it's always a work.
How fast do you feel like your guys are playing relative to where you'd want them to be?
Yeah, I mean, if I could highlight effort, this has been a group that hasn't given us a lot of pushback. I think it's a group that is attempting to give us what we're asking of them, specifically from an effort, physicality standpoint. It's by no means where it needs to be the truly competitive team in the Pac-12 at this point. I'm glad we don't play a game today. That's honest. But if we continue to do that, if our practices match from a tempo standpoint, effort standpoint, we combine it from a learning, doing the right job over and over again, and that you mentioned, and this thing turns into live work, I think we can progress in the right way.
Thank you, Coach.